amazing opportunity, and especially here in Chicago, prior to Lakeisha, there wasn't much recognition of the holiday. It was started in 2011, as she mentioned, but we're excited that she brought it to the South Side and included girls of color in this international holiday to recognize it. So give yourselves a hand, and let's uplift our young girls all around the globe. So I am the founder and CEO, as she mentioned, of Global Strategists Association. And what we do is we work to increase global engagement among the African diaspora. So if you are interested in learning more about what's happening around the world, why such days like this are very important, what's happening with education among girls around the world, and foreign policy, and where do we fit into those ideas. That's what we do. We engage you in all of those. We have a fellowship program where we work with leaders of color to increase their global platforms, educate them around geopolitics and world affairs. We also do a lot of roundtables and conferences to make sure our voices are heard in those spaces, because as you know, we're very interconnected these days. And so you may hear things like Russia a lot, North Korea, and so we want to help you understand why those things are important and why you being a global citizen matters in your local community. And where you are in the whole process. And so just because you're local doesn't mean that you can't be a global citizen. As we saw here tonight, Lakeisha mentioned there are 7 countries represented. So with those countries, there's different backgrounds and cultures and tribes and ethnicities that are important to our history and our heritage. And so that's what we do. So if you're interested in those things, we have our director of memberships, Tara, because she's waving her hand over there. Visit our table along with our partners, Global Glimpse, Jamilyn, she raised her hand, and World Chicago, Peggy. So visit that table if you want to become a global citizen and just more interested in that. So thank you, Lakeisha.
Absolutely, and so now we're going to have a very quick, we are behind, so we're going to move. We got to get these good announcements out. So we're going to have the Honorable General Consul of South Africa, General Consul Tulelo, to come up. Give it up, y'all. We have in our midst a woman, an African woman who is the General Consul. That is a big deal. Somebody that looks just like us. Yes. And the film that we're watching tonight, Imagine the Future, is about a girl from America going over to a home in South Africa. So this is how appropriate that she is here. So you want to tell them a little bit about what a General Consular does, where the Consulate General's office is or headquarters is here in Chicago, and what the connection is to South Africa.
Okay. All right. So I'm a Consul General, and the easiest way to explain it is that you guys know what an ambassador is, right? Yeah. So an ambassador is a representative of a foreign nation in another nation. And in the diplomatic world, we have 2 kinds of representations. We have an ambassador who deals mainly with the political relationships between 2 countries, and then we have a consul general who deals with political but predominantly economical relations between the 2 countries. So I have an ambassador who is based in DC, who I report to, and I have 3 other colleagues throughout the United States. 1 in New York, 1 in LA, and then myself. And I cover 14 states in the Midwest. So what I do basically is to tell people about South Africa and opportunities that are in South Africa, and make sure that I entice business people to go and invest in South Africa, and South Africans to come and invest in the United States. And then I also promote opportunities for exchange in education, arts, and culture. My offices are located on 200 South Michigan Avenue, downtown Chicago. That's where my offices are based, but I can be found everywhere in the Midwest. So you can't leave because my offices is there. That's always where I am. And I was thinking as I was watching the opening ceremony that one of the things that really fascinated me when I first got to the United States, and everybody's heard that I'm from South Africa, a group of ladies, beautiful, powerful ladies, invited me to an event. And they had a special program item just for me. And I walk in, and as I walk in, these beautiful girls start jumping up, and they're beating on their drums, and they're dancing, and I'm sitting there like, and these girls are dancing. And at the end of everything, this lady's did you like it? Did you like it? What did you think about it? And I turned around and I said, what was that? Because we always assume that because somebody comes from Africa, automatically they know each other and the cultures are the same. But they are completely different cultures. There are 52, give or take, countries on the continent of Africa. And depending on which part of the continent you come from, cultures are extremely different and they are not the same. So one of the things that I've thoroughly enjoyed doing in the Midwest is to share with people that because I am from South Africa, I do not know your friend from Nigeria. I have never seen him and I will never see him. And because I am from South Africa, I do not speak French. I speak English. South Africa. No. So it's important for us to empower ourselves as young men. And I was thinking that, yes, it's wonderful to celebrate these days as declared by the United Nations and governments. But there's even a bigger responsibility that we have as young women ourselves. How do we project ourselves to the world? What is it that defines you? And what comes to mind is, I don't know how many of you, if you've seen the recent Dove advert, please raise your hand. If you've seen the recent Dove advert, only one person?
Yeah.
Just one person saw the Dove advert?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was getting worried because you all have been on your phones the whole time. Okay. So, do you think it's a good advert or do you think it's a bad advert? What does that mean? I'm asking you, Jim, what does that mean?
You all probably did not understand. So she said, how many of you all have seen the Dove advertisement, the Dove body wash advert? That's what she said.
Yes.
We all have seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And she was telling me why she thinks it's misguided.
It's a poor representation, but you have to see the whole ad. The message that they were trying to relay wasn't right. It wasn't conveyed well. But I got what they were trying to do. But it's a poor reflection. It looks like, no shade to everyone, like a certain pigmentation or lack thereof is better than another. That's the way the ad came across.
Okay. And I find that very interesting because I was following that discussion on Twitter and on Instagram. And this is what I got out of that discussion. As a people, we are being misrepresented, right? But we make it our business to explain why we are being misrepresented. Why do we do that? We are the ones who are being misrepresented. We are the ones who are being told that we need a certain soul to look in a certain way. Yet we make it our business to explain to the world it was misguided. No, they didn't mean to say that. They said what they wanted to say.
That's right.
Why can we not accept that?
That's right.
We have a responsibility to say what we want to say.
That's right.
So what is it that we want to say about ourselves? We are young women of courage. We are young women of integrity, of high levels of intellect, and we will not be shaken. We are young women who know where we come from, we know where we are going to, and nobody is going to deter us from that. But most importantly, we know that we are equal partners in the fight for justice, equality, and non-discrimination. So sometimes I feel that when I get invited to such events, instead of me talking, it should be more of an interactive, because I think there's a lot that I can learn from these opinions here, instead of me just preaching to the people all the time. But it's important to never, ever be ashamed of who we are. We should celebrate who we are, we should celebrate our heritage, and never seek to explain other people's interpretations of who we are. But thank you so much for having me to celebrate this evening with you.
Thank you. And stick around, there is more interaction. We are going to do a picture really quickly. what she said because how many of y'all read my blog? If you didn't read it, please read my blog about that Gov advertisement, but we're going to move right on. We're not going to make this a big thing. There is more interaction coming and some great things coming, but we have a good announcement right now. We would like to invite up to, this is our makeshift stage, so Jamilyn, come on up, and Miss Peggy, come on up. And I'm inviting Peggy up from World Chicago because they are really critical to the engagement in Chicago and making sure that you all, we, us, all of us on the south side, north side, west side, that we're all connected and that there is a connection to others when they come over here, that there's opportunities for us to engage and interact and do service projects together. So I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you so much. World Chicago, we're delighted to be here to celebrate International Day of the Girl. And we do host emerging leaders from around the world. So if you are in high school, with sophomore or junior in high school, be sure to go to the table that we share with GSA and with Global Glimpse to get one of our flyers about our youth diplomats where you can interact with people. And if you are mothers of people in high school, we have other ways to get families involved, to meet people from around the world staying here in Chicago. It's a great way to travel without the airline ticket. So thank you, and we're glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Y'all give it up. I hope to see some of you all making your way over to that table. And now, this has been a dream. Girls Like Me was started in 2012, officially started. Oh, are we in the light? Let's go into the lights. Girls Like Me was officially started in 2012, and one of the very first goals or objectives, and we knew we couldn't do it that year, but it is on our strategic plan to expand. And that expansion was to make sure that we were globally connecting girls. Our dream was to teach them about different cultures, different languages, things that they have with different girls on various continents, not just in Chicago or in different American cities. And out of that, we wanted to culminate with travel. And guess what, y'all? I'm almost gonna cry. I didn't know I was. But 6 years later, 6 years later, we are able to make this announcement. So I'm not gonna talk because I'm a crybaby. I'm going to let Appreccia share the good news and Jamilyn as well.
So hi again, everyone. So we are honored to make this announcement and fulfill Lakeisha's wish tonight and say that we have entered into a memorandum of understanding, Global Strategists Association and Global Glimpse, into a partnership to send young girls and young boys of color on trips abroad to be able to have cultural exchanges. Yay! This has been Lakeisha's wish for 6 years, and so because of the work we do to engage people of color and in global affairs and international relations, we feel like the younger you are that you have this experience, the more apt you are to become a global citizen. How many adults in here wish that they had went abroad when they were younger? Raise your hand. How many know how exciting this is to be a high schooler of color and to be able to go outside of the country? So with that, we are honored to recognize Girls Like Me Project as only one of the 2 organizations to be a benefactor of this first cultural exchange. Congratulations, Girls Like Me!
Yes, so Jamie is going to tell a little bit about where they're going and what kind of things they will learn. However, I do want you to know that on the back of your programs, there is an opportunity for you to help support this effort because Global Strategists Association is giving a small stipend scholarship. We'll have other partners who will be doing the same, but we want to invest in this opportunity. So on the back of your program, in your program, there's a donation page where you can actually fill out tonight and start that tonight. Okay, and then Jamie, you can go ahead and let them know a little bit about the program.
Awesome, thank you, and congratulations. I didn't realize it was 6 years of a dream that's coming true. I love this.
So let me share a little bit about who we are. Global Glimpse, we are an organization working in the Chicagoland area, and we want to bring diverse groups of students together to see the world through our program that's 16 days in Latin America the summer after your junior year. What is exciting is it's not you going with a couple friends to do things that you already know. This whole experience is to help you develop as a leader and also to help you develop community. We work at Global Glimpse to empower America's next generation to become responsible global citizens, as you mentioned. And you cannot do that staying right here. You have to get out of your comfort zone physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so whether it's World Chicago in an event here in Chicago, or you being an ambassador and going abroad to Nicaragua, the DR, or Ecuador, with 19 other students from across Chicago experiencing the same new things alongside you, but could have a very different perspective of what they see, or it touches them in a way that is different from you, and you have a chance to talk about it, laugh about it, cry about it, and hopefully grow, so that when you come back, you are stronger. You have a global understanding that goes beyond your current peers' perspective, and that you will make a great impact in your community and abroad. I do want to share one quote. This is from Chloe. She is at Lindblom, and she traveled with one of her now family, Lauren, from Kenwood, and we're also at Morgan Park High School here on the south side. But she said, from Global Glimpse, I'm most proud of the fact that we grew as leaders and impacted so many individuals here. From teaching English to living like a local and facing some of our most challenging obstacles, we all have grown. Everybody has inspired me to be a better leader, listener, teacher, friend, and to be grateful for the little things in life. So I hope that you take a step outside your comfort zone. Parents, I hope you let your little ones fly. And think seriously about the opportunity of spending 16 days next summer with Global Glimpse through the partnership we have with GSA and Girls Like Me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamilyn. Thank you. How awesome is it to have an organization that is coming into our communities and say, we think this matters. It's important. I know many of my adult friends still did not have a passport in college. So meeting a young person who has a global perspective not only helps them, but it helps communities. When you come back and you realize you have skills to help your local communities, it's not just having a global perspective, it's having a local understanding of how I can impact. So thank you, Global Glimpse, for helping make this dream come true for girls like me. We are honored to be the conduit to be able to send these young people abroad for the first time. Thank you.